For the record, books didn't exist before the 1400s. Before this, there were many ways to record events in history, or to have records of contracts, even recording ideology and beyond. The most ancient recordings were drawn and carved on stone. Some made parchment from animal skins. Even weaved plants played a role in other different ways to record. Very few of these ancient recordings lasted the test of time in the second law of thermodynamics, though. The printing press was invented in a town not too far from where I used to live in Germany by a man named Gutenberg. His first printing was a translation of the Vulgate Latin Bible to German. Thus, the first book ever in history was a Gutenberg Bible. After the invention of the printing press, the Bible took some changes even more than it already had. The Roman Church at that time ruled most of the modern world and did so with religious vigor. The Roman Empire changed to the Roman Church, and it had its religion rule its kingdoms from the inside, giving each kingdom its own sanctity and time. It force-fed most of the world with Rome's religion from Rome's perspective only. See, at that time, Latin was the standard language of education, and the Latin version made many changes in the text from the original writings. Therefore, there was a thirst for the Bible in Europe, but not through the dogmatic pagan eyes of Rome. This sparked a literature war. Many people started making many translations. The Geneva Bible, the Wycliffe Bible, Tinsdale, and others were all considered enemies of the Roman Church because they wanted to learn and understand the text of their faith without Roman blinders on. A Catholic priest by the name of Luther protested against the Roman Catholic Church and made a translation as well. This birthed a branch off from making those followers Protestant Catholics, known today as Protestant Christians. This takes us to the King of England named James. His story is quite intriguing. You see, as a youth he learned Hebrew and Greek, and in his free time used to study the original manuscripts of the, at that time, comprised Bible. Doing so, he saw many flaws in the Latin translation from the original writing. When he was crowned King of England, he was the King of Scotland before that. One of the first things he did was sit down with the Roman Catholics and the Protestants. He decreed that both would work together to make a new translation of the Bible in English, and it would also include what is known as the Old and New Testaments together. It was not common at that time for both to be together. Rome, who ruled by religious authority, did not like this and attempted to take his life in 1604. You know, this day is still celebrated in memory by Britain and all of its territories. Well, in 1611, the King James Version of the Bible was finished. Today, mostly all modern versions of the Bible use the King James Version as its base in translating. And this is where mostly all Bibles come from in mostly every language. But let's take it back before the Vulgate Bible. How did Rome collectively construct its Bible? What sources were taken? Which were not? How many manuscripts are and were there? What are the original writings? Hebrew is understandable, but why Greek? Tune in next week. No, I'm just messing around.